Welcome to our end of week news bulletin. My name is Koplo Kibwanga Ferdinand. The KDF Weekly Bulletin is a show to keep you updated on events undertaken by the Ministry of Defense over the week. In today's bulletin, Fare thee well, Ambassador Major General retired Ayub Matiri. Joint reconnaissance in North Rift to revise security strategy. Defense PS calls upon private sector to explore on space activities. Kenya Air Force airlifts South Sudan People's Defense Forces East Africa Community Regional Force Contingent. And in sports, CDF Women Football Tournament kicks off at Lanet in Nakuru County. Kenya Defense Forces fraternity, family and friends paid their tributes in honor of the late Ambassador Major General retired Ayub Gwantai Matiri at All Saints Cathedral here in Nairobi. The memorial service, led by retired Reverend Professor Joseph Galgalo of the Methodist Church, jointly with the military ordinariate, Colonel Reverend Alfayo Lelei, shared messages of condolences together with the family and friends. The family mourned the Ambassador Major General retired Matiri as a family man and a gallant soldier who anchored his life in values of discipline, selflessness, hard work, courage, determination, and perseverance as a legacy he left for them to embrace.
Before his appointment as an ambassador of Kenya to Arab Republic of Egypt, Major General retired Matiri served in the Kenya Defense Forces as the General Officer Commanding Eastern Command. The memorial service was attended by, among others, the Vice Chief of Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Francis Ogola, who delivered messages of condolence from the Chief of Defense Forces, representatives from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, both serving and retired generals, and the rest of the military fraternity.
As a commander of a unit, brigade, and later a GOC, the late Major General Matiri distinguished himself as a leader, a team player, and a champion of soldiers' welfare.
The Vice Chief of Defense Forces praised the late Ayub Matiri, who was appointed as the head of the National Multi-Agency Command Center, entrusted with controlling the spread of coronavirus, which bore fruits. He further described the late as a team leader and a player who distinguished himself in various capacities as he rose in ranks.
We come to celebrate an extraordinary man, a husband, a father, a warrior, and a friend. Those who are fortunate enough to know him are a witness to how he made us better people.
The late Ambassador Major General retired Matiri was laid to rest at his home in Kidoka, Meru County, in an event that was attended by Lieutenant General Francis Ogola, Vice Chief of Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Peter Njiru, Army Commander, among other military leaders and civilian dignitaries.
Patrick Mariru, Defense Principal Secretary, has called upon the private sector to consider investing in space, saying it's a new frontier in the technological advancement for the national socio-economic development. Speaking when he hosted members of the press at the Kenya Space Agency headquarters here in Nairobi, the PS said that this is a moment of pride for the country to launch the second satellite into the outer space. Mariru said the Taifa 1 satellite, set to be launched next week at Vandenberg Base in California, USA, is the first step by the government to exploit opportunities and fortunes associated with the utilization of space science, technologies, and applications.
Mr. Mariru said the satellite shall be essential in providing timely and regular imagery data for predictive analysis and data-driven decision support in the field of agriculture and food security, natural resource management, blue economy, disaster management, environment monitoring, among other phenomena.
The satellite will be launched aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 Transporter 7 mission, expected to go into outer space on or about 10th of April 2023.
The Principal Secretary, who shall be the head of high-profile delegation to California, said the satellite was purely designed and developed by a pool of Kenyan engineers, whereas the manufacturing of parts, testing and qualification were done in collaboration with Endurosat AD, a Bulgarian aeroscope manufacturer.
A security team led by Assistant Inspector General Gilbert Masengeli, Commander Police Special Operations Group, and Brigadier Ahmad Saman, Commander Army Special Operations Brigade, conducted a joint reconnaissance in the bandit-prone region of North Rift. The recce was aimed at revising strategies that have been enforced so far and devise ways to achieve the set objectives. The operation commanders reiterated the need for the troops to remain focused on the overall objective of regaining normalcy in the region. The joint reconnaissance was done in the areas of Kokore, Chesirimion, Serition, Kositei, and Kasogon in Baringo County to expedite the deployment of troops and opening up of roads. Kenya Air Force soldiers drawn from Moi Air Base Logistics Command and Headquarter Wing took advantage of the ongoing rains by planting trees at Konza City in Machakos County. The tree planting efforts are part of the President and Commander-in-Chief's initiative, which aims to plant 15 billion trees by 2032 and in conformity with Kenya Defence Forces Environmental Soldier Program theme towards total national defence. The team, led by Lieutenant Colonel Evans Oduma, Commanding Officer Central Supply Depot, was received by Head of Security Konza City, Corporal Retired David Onyango. Later in the week, Kenya Army personnel from Kenyatta Barracks, led by Major General David Tarus, Officer Commanding Westcom Command, in conjunction with the Equity Bank representatives and Globe Gone Green organization, planted over 4,300 assorted seedlings comprising of indigenous and fruit trees around Gilgil military cantonment.
Speaking during the exercise, Lieutenant Colonel Oduma applauded the soldiers for a job well done and encouraged everyone to plant more trees at individual level. During the exercise, over 5,000 tree seedlings were planted, with the main focus being to achieve a better environment by planting as many trees as possible across the country. While addressing the participants, Major General David Tarus urged the personnel to take advantage of the ongoing rains to plant more trees in their formations, units, and personal residence in order to help avert the devastating effects of climate change. Mr. Paul Mwai, the Equity Bank Gilgil branch team leader, urged the Kenya Defence Forces personnel and all environment stakeholders to heighten tree planting exercises across the country as a good example to future generations on matters environment conservation.
Kenya Defence Forces troops from Bulagolol Forward Operating Base, led by Major Waweru, officer commanding 23 Mechanized Infantry Battalion, distributed food and water to the residents of El Kambere in Garissa County, who are currently facing water scarcity due to prolonged drought in the region. The distribution will enable locals to participate in fully during Iftar and Suhoor in the ongoing holy month of Ramadan.
Speaking during the exercise, Major Waweru promised the residents that the Kenya Defence Forces will continue providing security and protecting them as outlined in the Kenyan Constitution. The one-day exercise also saw KDF medical team extend their services to the community and further engaged the local key leaders on security situation in the area. The area chief was glad to report a reduction of threats and attacks by the Al-Shabaab militia. Locals were also encouraged to continue working with the KDF and other security teams operating in the area.
Major General Bernard Waliaula, Director General of Defense to National Security Industries, presided over the official opening of East Africa Community Meeting of the Chief Executive Officers of Military Industrial Facilities at Kenya Shipyards Limited in Kisumu. The three-day meeting was meant to deliberate on matters pertinent to strengthening and widening the regional integration in the industrial and defense sector, as well as review the implementation of previous directives of the Sectorial Council on Cooperation in Defense. The meeting also intended to review the operationalization of defense facilities offered for shared utilization and adoption of defense industry's exhibition of military industrial products and services by the host countries.
In his remarks, Major General Waliaula underscored the importance of the meeting as key to fostering bilateral and mutual cooperation. He further emphasized that shared utilization of military industries facilities helps build close ties between the partner states and strengthen strategic partnership in addressing common socio-economic and security concerns. Chairing the meeting, Brigadier General Sibomana Ignace of Burundi National Defense Forces emphasized the importance that the East Africa Community partner states attach to the forum. He said that industrial investment is an important pillar of integration and its development will help to deepen cooperation as the region moves toward the next milestone of shared utilization of resources. Speaking during the forum, Colonel William Sodoka, who represented the East Africa Community Secretary General, emphasized the need for partner states to prioritize and allocate more resources to the defense industries to enable them build more capacity.
Kenya Defense Forces provided strategic airlift and logistics support to the East Africa Community Regional Force South Sudan contingent from Juba International Airport in South Sudan to Goma International Airport in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The deployment of South Sudan People Defense Forces marks the final phase of deployment of East Africa Community Regional Force troops into Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, as directed by the heads of state during the 20th Extraordinary Summit held in Bujumbura on the 4th of February 2023. The South Sudan People Defense Forces will deploy to Rumangabo Forward Operating Base, where they will be co-located with the Kenyan contingent. Their arrival marks a critical and significant milestone towards enhancing peace and stability in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
While in Juba, South Sudan President His Excellency Salva Kiir, in a statement read by the Minister for Defense and Veteran Affairs General Cholton, expressed his confidence in South Sudan's People's Defense Forces troops under East Africa Community Regional Force in carrying out their mission professionally and upholding the international and humanitarian law. Kenya's ambassador to South Sudan, Major General retired Samuel Nandwa, appreciated the support by Kenya Defense Forces. His sentiments were echoed by the Acting Minister for Foreign Affairs, Deng Daudeng, who welcomed the brotherly support of Kenya and reiterated the government's commitment to regional peace and security. General Santino Dengwall, the South Sudan People's Defense Forces Chief of Defense Forces, thanked the Kenya Air Force officers, saying South Sudan People's Defense Forces and KDF are brothers whose collaboration should continue even as they set out for the joint operation in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo under East Africa Community Regional Force.
Honorable Aden Duale, Cabinet Secretary for Defense, this week separately hosted the Israeli ambassador to Kenya, His Excellency Michael Lotem, his Ukrainian counterpart, His Excellency Andriy Pravednik, and Swedish ambassador to Kenya, Her Excellency Caroline Vikini. The three leaders separately paid the Cabinet Secretary courtesy calls at his office here in Nairobi and discussed an array of issues, among them peace, security, and the existing defense cooperation between the countries. The leaders further explored areas of possible partnerships for the benefit of citizens of their countries. The Kenya Navy junior officers and sailors taking part in this year's sea training cruise exercise Jitegemee 24 visited the Seychelles Regional Coordination Operations Center during their first port of call at Port Victoria in Seychelles. The Regional Coordination Operations Center plays a pivotal role in regional maritime security coordination, information sharing, and response by member countries, contributing to effective maritime domain awareness.
Led by Lieutenant Colonel Vincent Rono, the senior officer afloat, the officers and sailors had an opportunity to meet and engage with KDF Defense Attaché to Seychelles and Somalia, Colonel Samuel Mia. Colonel Mia encouraged the junior officers and sailors to take the sea experience as learning opportunity as it shapes their future careers. During the voyage, the junior officers and sailors conducted various evolutions and exercises, exposing them to practical sea experience and preparing them for various departmental roles.
Brigadier Luka Kuto, Commander Sector 6, visited the African Union Transition Mission troops in Somalia, who are deployed at the old airport forward operating base in Kismayo. The visit was aimed at assessing the security situation and encouraging the troops to achieve the mandate of the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia. During the visit, the sector commander was welcomed by Major Morris Andande, officer commanding Old Airport Forward Operating Base, who later briefed him on the security situation at the Old Airport.
While addressing the troops, Brigadier Kuto emphasized on the importance of diligence in achieving the mandate of the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, situational awareness and collaboration with the Somalia security forces. Additionally, he highlighted the troops' welfare arrangement in place and urged the soldiers to maintain high standard of discipline and professionalism in discharging their duties.
The opening game of the Chief of Defence Forces 2023 Women Tournament began in a spectacular fashion, with Isiolo team and Moi Air Base treating spectators to a fantastic match at the 81 Tank Battalion Sports Ground in Lanet, Nakuru County. The early morning fixtures saw both teams battle for the crucial win, with the game ending to a barren draw in the first half. In the second half, at the 78th minute, Corporal Perila Dama scored for Isiolo team after their midfield tactician Corporal Josephine Kerubo, with her splitting passes, released a superb touch to Dama, who in turn converted it to a goal. During the opening of the ceremony, Brigadier John Nkoimo, the Deputy Commandant, Kenya Military Academy, on behalf of the Chief of Defence Forces, General Robert Kibochi, observed that the Football Women edition offers an opportunity for individual players to review their talents by engaging in various sporting activities.
The afternoon contest saw Kahawa Garrison thrash their Marsabit counterparts 3-0. Nanyuki and Tongwe settled on 1 apiece. Lanet bet new debutants Wajir Airbase 5-0. Modika surprised Nairobi team with 3-0 win, while Laikipia Airbase and Manda Base settling for a barren draw. The 3 weeks exercise seeks to spot best talents for eventual recruitment into Ulinzi Starlets, as well as promoting gender mainstreaming within the Kenya Defence Forces.
Basically, what you're doing here is we have a pool, or rather we are talent spotting from a pool of the ladies in the KDF, so that we inject new blood to the Ulinzi Starlets.
Colonel Evans Oguga, Deputy Commander Kenya Navy Base Mtongwe, presided over the closing ceremony of the Kenya Navy Inter-Unit Volleyball Tournament held at the Kenya Navy Base Mtongwe, Mombasa County. The 3-day tournament marked the annual volleyball competition aimed at forming a formidable team to play in the Chief of Defence Forces Bora Cup volleyball competition.
In the highly contested preliminary games, teams drawn from Kenya Navy Base Mtongwe, Kenya Navy Base Manda, Kenya Navy Fleet, Kenya Naval Training College and Naval Logistics participated in the competition. Kenya Navy Base Mtongwe won the men's final, with Kenya Navy Base Manda securing the runners-up position. In the ladies' finals, Kenya Navy Fleet emerged winners, while Kenya Navy Training College took the runners-up position. In a speech read by Colonel Oguga, the Commander Kenya Navy congratulated all the participants of the events and the selected teams.
Sports and games are important for all around development, enhancing good mental and physical growth.
He further urged the teams to synergize hard training from team managers to bring more trophies home.
Thank you for watching. We look forward to your feedback via our official social media handles and your viewership next Friday on the KDF Weekly News Bulletin. My name is Koplo Kibwanga Ferdinand. Happy Easter holidays. Goodbye.